All right, today we're going to dive into this really beautiful, kind of thought-provoking idea about our inner lives. And it all comes down to one single, really elegant word. So that word is diaphanous. Now, what does that even mean? Well, in the most straightforward sense, it's about fabric. Something super light, delicate, and translucent. Think of silk or maybe a sheer curtain blowing in a breeze. It's all about that soft, see-through quality. But here's where it gets really interesting. We can use this word for more than just fabric. It can describe anything that has this, extreme delicacy. And that makes it the perfect way to start talking about something as complex and, frankly, as delicate as our own sense of self. So, let me ask you something to just kind of mull over as we go through this. When do you feel most like you? Is it when everything is out in the open, totally exposed? Or is it in those moments when you decide to keep some parts hidden just for yourself? And that question really gets us to the heart of what we're talking about today. The main idea here is that being your authentic self doesn't mean you have to broadcast every single thought, every feeling, every little thing that happens to you. Right, so here's the bottom line. It is absolutely okay, in fact, it's healthy to have a private self. You can have these parts of your inner world that are just yours, even from the people you're closest to, and that's not a sign of a weak connection. No, it's an assertion of who you are. But, okay, why do we do this? Is it because we're insecure or we're hiding something bad? Well, not at all, actually. Turns out there are some very natural, very healthy reasons for keeping some things to ourselves. So let's just run through these. First off, you might keep something private, well, just because you can. It's your inner life, it's your choice. Simple as that. Second, it's honestly kind of kind to other people. I mean, can you imagine if we shared everything? It would be totally overwhelming for them. And these last two are huge. They're all about growth. Sometimes you just need that quiet, private space to let new parts of you grow. Or maybe you've just figured something new out about yourself, and you need a minute to understand it before you're ready to talk about it. And this quote right here just nails that idea of personal growth. Every day, a tiny portion grows, and the best way to cultivate it is to give it some time and see how we grow. I mean, that's beautiful, right? Our sense of self isn't some finished product. It's alive, it's evolving. And privacy? That's the greenhouse that gives these fragile new sprouts the space they need to grow strong, away from the pressure of the outside world. Okay, we need to be super clear on this next point, because it's a big one. Being private is not the same thing as being fake. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. Let's just look at the difference here. When you're being private, you're naturally curating. You're sharing what makes sense for that specific relationship. It's about tending to your inner garden. But being fake, that's totally different. That comes from a place of insecurity or even deceit. You're building a whole false front. So one is like being a smart curator of your own museum, and the other is just putting on a costume. Yeah, and this really brings it home. We naturally understand what's important in the connection between certain individuals, and we just expand on that area. It's just intuitive, right? We're social animals. We get it. You don't vent about a tough day at the office to your 5-year-old, and you probably don't spill your deepest secrets to someone you just met at work. It's a totally natural part of building connections. You expand on the parts of yourself that make sense for that person for that moment. All right, so let's tie all of this together now with a really simple but powerful image. This is the metaphor that gives this whole idea its name. I want you to just imagine this for a second. There's a person, and they're standing behind a sheer curtain, okay? It's not a brick wall, it's not a locked door, it's just this light, delicate, see-through piece of fabric. So what do you see? You can still see the person, right? You see their shape, their face, the essence of them is visible. But the really sharp, fine-grained details, they're softened a bit. And this is key. Light still gets through. There's still a connection, you can still see them, but there's this gentle, protective layer in between. And that right there, that sheer curtain, that is the diaphanous veil of the self. It's such a perfect way to think about being authentic, isn't it? You're not hiding. You are seen, you are present, you're connecting with people. But you also get to keep this delicate layer of privacy that just softens the edges. It protects those parts of you that are still new, still growing. And that really leaves us with one last question to think about. That veil isn't a wall for you to hide behind. It's more like a garden fence, creating a safe space for things to grow. So the question is, what are you cultivating behind your veil?